Hello everybody, my name is Lush Eisner and welcome to the Canadian Money Talk, the channel about Canadian investing and personal finance. Please like and subscribe. I record a video per week, so make sure you ring the notification bell to get notified each time one comes out. In this video, I'd like to discuss top wealth building strategies by net worth, since your approach to building wealth and your life in general will change based on the amount of money you have. Everyone is in different stages of their financial journey, so I am trying to give specific suggestions by net worth. I divided the video into multiple stages of your financial life, making an educated guess at what might be happening during that stage, and then saying what you should be doing. But let's calculate our net worth first. So net worth equals assets less liabilities, what you own less what you owe. Let's exclude the primary residence home equity from the net worth for these classifications, since that is quite dependent on the area where you live and when you bought in, if you own a home at all. Also, let me generalize and say a couple of things. Firstly, older people are likely to have a higher net worth, peaking in their 60s, before they start to draw it down for retirement. Secondly, low net worth people tend to buy liabilities, things that cost them money, but they're usually fun things. High net worth people, on the other hand, buy assets that make them money, but they're likely not as much fun, so keep that in the back of your mind as we go through these. Let's start on the lower end of the net worth. So we're going to look at negative net worth to zero net worth. When you first enter into the workforce, a lot of people start there. You might have some student debt from getting your education, but that is good debt since it's increasing your earning potential and the value of your time that you will initially have to spend. So let's look at what you are doing. You are probably spending more than you have coming in. If you have student debt, you invested in improving your earning potential, which is fine. If you have consumer debt, you probably bought a lot of fun stuff when you were first unleashed out of school or from living with your parents, so you could be what you thought was an adult. What you should be doing. The student debt is fine, but avoid getting into student debt past 1 year's salary that the degree will bring you fresh out of school. That is, be willing to invest more into degrees that will earn you more money, but get into less debt for fun degrees that don't get you a good job. Secondly, live within your means. If you can't pay for it without going into debt, you don't quote unquote deserve it. Don't try to impress your friends and neighbors. If you are in consumer debt, change your mindset and approach to money. Credit cards are fine as long as you pay them off every month. Avoid debt on depreciating assets like cars, motorhomes, and boats. Sell the motorhome and the boat. And if you bought a luxury car, sell that too and buy something more reasonable, reliable, and 3 to 5 years old. Urgently pay off any credit card debt because the compound interest is really working against you. Use either a snowball or an avalanche debt payoff method, whichever will work for you psychologically. Once you've paid off the debt, you likely have time on your side, so you can begin the wealth building. Save a $1,000 emergency fund for your peace of mind and to make life go a little bit more smoothly. This is reserved for true emergencies, things you have to deal with that pop up, not a trip, not a new sofa. Also, be able to cover deductibles for any insurance policies you are paying, house, car, disability, and life insurance as needed. If your employer offers a match on your RSP or TFSA, invest just enough to max out the match, since that is a 100% return, still beating the 20% interest that your credit card is charging you. But don't invest in anything else, since regular investments won't beat 20% most of the time. Next stage of net worth is 0 to 100,000. So what you are likely doing? Well, the credit cards are paid off and perhaps the student debt, which is excellent. You are becoming discouraged, however. If you are young, you're not in your peak earning years, and to get to the first 100,000 in investments is mathematically the hardest, with compounding making the next 100,000 a lot easier. So don't get discouraged. What you should be doing, you should look at the long view and understand that once you get past the 100,000 hurdle, things accumulate more quickly. Plus, you will have higher income, so don't get discouraged. Grow your cash emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of expenses to cover job loss or an emergency expense like car repair. Have this first before you start investing. Assuming you have at least 10 years before you need the money, begin investing in a set of low fee ETFs that each follow an index, perhaps one following the TSX index for Canada, another the S&P 500 to cover the US, another for EFI, which stands for Europe, Australasia, Far East, to cover the developed world, and another for emerging markets. Do this investment on a monthly basis, putting in as much as you can afford. Pick a brokerage that will let you buy these without any commissions, since you'll be putting in 100 or 200 into each ETF, and a $10 commission for each trade would really work against you. The emergency fund will prevent you from having to sell the ETFs when you are perhaps down in value when you need the money, and keep you from getting back into credit card debt. And I have one acronym for you, ABB, always be buying. Don't jump into the latest investing trends when you're investing. Invest for the long term without trying to time the market. Be as aggressive as possible with your investing because you have time on your side, assuming that you're just starting out. Whether the investment has an 8% or 9% return or a 0.3% or 0.4% annual fee, this will not make anywhere as much of a difference as whether you're investing 5% of your income or 10% or 20%. You have to determine what's right for you and your goals, however. If you don't like to be financially independent and retire early, then you don't need to save that much. However, if you do want to retire early and be financially independent, try to aim for something like 25% of your gross income getting invested. But keep in mind, anything is better than nothing. Don't throw your hands up when you can't make 25%. If you can do 15, awesome. Next, we'll look at the net worth of 100,000 to $500,000. So what you are doing is you're probably buying a house, cars, and you're having children. All very expensive endeavors, possibly causing a pause or reprioritization of the money that is going into the investments. What you should be doing, you should look at the long view, prioritize according to your life goals, and understand that you only live once. So if you need a vacation, you should take a vacation, but also understand that in 20 years, the vacation has cost 10 times as much because the money wasn't invested. If you are buying a home, consider the cost of the mortgage versus the earnings on the investments and decide whether you want to pull your investments out to buy a house, which will appreciate at 3%, and save the mortgage interest, but stop the compounding on the investments. It is your decision. Try to not buy too much house for your income, especially not too much car. And definitely don't buy boats and timeshares. You should appreciate the compounding and watch your money grow as you stay the course. The money is accumulating faster and faster in dollar terms. Next, we're getting into the money, the net worth of $500,000 to $1 million. This is what I think you're doing. You might now try to do some tricky, exclusive, and expensive investments like private equity because that is what rich people are supposed to do. And you're likely carrying a mortgage. So what you should be doing is you should stick to simple index investing that got you here. So why change it when there's an extra zero on the end? The ETFs will still work. Avoid what is in the industry called dumb doctor deals. The companies that put these investments together want to get paid, and the less you do, the more fees and commissions they collect. It's true your time is valuable, but if you're not doing anything but writing a check, the investment is vanilla and the return is low. So for example, I once had an opportunity for a real estate investment in Calgary. It was completely a bad investment, priced in such a way that there was zero cash flow, low chance of appreciation, but it was vanilla and you didn't have to do anything. You weren't actually buying the real estate yourself directly, you were giving a check to the company that was putting it on. So high-powered, high earners likely don't have time to analyze things. They just know that they want to invest in real estate. But in this particular investment, property management came included, but you had to pay for it. And there was even a form of insurance which came included because the whole building was owned by the organizing company and was being sold off a unit at a time. So you could opt into a building-wide cost-sharing program, basically insurance, with the organizing company taking a cut just for administering it. Similarly, avoid investments that are complicated so that you can't understand them. Complicated doesn't mean sophisticated, and more often than not, the complication is being used to obscure the fees all the way through to the scams in those investments. Look at the lifestyle you want, what is affecting it negatively that you control, and how much your time is worth. For example, if managing real estate, dealing with tenants, etc. is not for you and the compensation for your time is minimal, think about getting professional management or just getting rid of the real estate entirely if it isn't for you. You have sufficient means now that if the investment type is affecting your lifestyle and life enjoyment, you can make adjustments. So as not to pick on real estate, if your stock investments volatility is causing you stress, you're doing well, see if you can get into something that you're more comfortable with, even if it makes a smaller return. The mortgage on your primary residence is low interest debt, so it can be left to last, but especially if you don't like debt, consider paying it off at the next renewal date. If there hasn't been a financial advisor or planner involved until now, you are getting to the point where you may wish to involve one to do a financial plan, get tax advice, and a second opinion on anything you may be missing in your financial life. At this point, pay the advisor by the project or by the hour. You don't want to pay them as a percentage of your assets, since that would be expensive. And finally, the net worth of over 1 million. What I think you're doing is you're spending more or perhaps too much because you're rich. If you were fine with your lifestyle before, perhaps it's still okay now. Or on the other hand, maybe you're having trouble spending because you're used to accumulation and you can't bring yourself to spend money. That's my problem. Or you're still going as hard as you can because you want to beat Warren Buffett or Bill Gates and you're never going to, so perhaps you need to ease off a little bit. So what you should be doing is, it's okay. Your persistence in saving and investing got you here. You can let go a little. Live the life appropriate to your net worth and annual income combined with your goals. Be aware of lifestyle creep or inflation of your lifestyle as your net worth or income increases. Consider your goals and how you want to live. Talk to your family as to what makes them happy, because that is what the money is for. Look at working part-time instead of full-time, or just volunteer at something that is important to you and brings you joy. Look at giving to charity. Look at the legacy for your family in a tax-efficient manner, including the appropriate will, power of attorney, and trusts. Consider dropping any insurance coverage that's not mandated by law, since you're approaching being self-insured. If you are unable to work because of a disability, for example, your assets will provide enough income to live on. And if you pass away, your financial dependents will be taken care of using the assets you accumulated and will not be affected financially by your passing. So technically, you don't need the life insurance or the disability insurance. Start paying attention to taxes even more now and identify if you have a tax liability with a large RRSP, for example, or if you could be more tax efficient in your investing, perhaps accessing that financial advisor or your accountant every couple of years or as needed. Use the financial advisor to determine your risk tolerance, perhaps flipping some of the stock index ETFs into something less volatile like a bond ETF as the time to you needing your money back nears. Also work on your financial planning, what you can do with the money your portfolio is producing, how much you can spend, etc. So the video covered some steps to take depending on your net worth. Obviously, adjust these to fit you and your lifestyle and borrow ideas from the other net worth categories as you see fit. If you have any requests on what you'd like me to cover in future videos, please put that in the comment section. If you'd like to get in touch, please reach out on any of these social media channels, and may you have a profitable day.